Item 9, proclamation recognizing the retirement of Max Rothschild. Amy Lathan, Chair, Board of County Commissioners.
Well, this is a privilege to be able to read this into the record. And so I'm going to read this into the record, and Max, if you'd like to come up, you can now, or you can wait until after. I've got to tell you, I've got my high-powered glasses on because there's a lot of information on this, and so the font is a little small because we had to fit it all in. But it is my great privilege to read this into the record. This is a proclamation recognizing the retirement of Max Rothschild. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, regretfully notes the retirement of Max L. Rothschild, who has faithfully served El Paso County for 24 years. And whereas, during his county career, Mr. Rothschild served as Director of Public Works and Executive Director of Development Services. And whereas Mr. Rothschild first started working for the county on March 3rd, 1975, and retired in early 1994, but he was asked to come out of retirement during the 2008-2009 recession to help county administration through a very difficult period of downsizing and reduced economic activity. And whereas Max Rothschild provided innovative leadership in the establishment of many professional standards and best practices, including the first written county snow removal program and policy in the state, was instrumental in securing the development of a strategic county road and bridge program, which includes maximizing the benefit of available state and federal funding for critical county projects. And whereas Mr. Rothschild was instrumental in the organization of the Colorado Association of Road Supervisors and Engineers and served as its first president in 1980. And whereas he also served as president of the National Association of County Engineers from 1982 to 1983, and president of the American Road and Transportation Building Association from 1985 to 1986. And whereas Max has represented the county on numerous local and state transportation committees for transportation and served 9 years as the Federal Highway Administration's County Road Advisor for Region 8. And whereas, as Development Services Director, Max helped to lead the effort to develop the countywide Transportation Impact Fee Program, as well as the county's adoption of state-required 1041 regulations. And whereas he led the effort in cooperation with the Pikes Peak Regional Building Department to develop a program to increase efficiency through the use of electronic site plan reviews. And whereas Mr. Rothschild provided critical leadership and guidance to the Development Services Department in order to assist citizens and facilitate rebuilding following the Waldo Canyon and Black Forest fires and subsequent flooding. And whereas he played a key role in developing local processes to address oil and gas exploration and wind and solar energy generation development in the county. And whereas, under his leadership, Development Services has worked to provide more over-the-counter informal assistance to citizens, reducing the need for citizens to use a more formal and costly process. And whereas, under his leadership, Development Services has successfully implemented initial recommendations of the Barriers to Business Committee, including the consolidation of zoning districts, elimination of automatic expiration periods for certain land use approvals, and phasing of subdivision approvals to reduce upfront costs. And whereas Mr. Rothschild is widely recognized for his dedication and loyalty to the county, always working to protect best interests of the county. And whereas he has, throughout his long and impressive career, been a true leader, sharing his vast experience and knowledge and providing an excellent example for every county employee. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, hereby expresses its appreciation and gratitude, and that of the residents of El Paso County, to Max Rothschild for more than 2 decades of dedicated, productive, and valuable service to the county. Done this 22nd day of December 2015 at Colorado Springs, Colorado. The Board of County Commissioners of El Paso County, Colorado, Amy Lathan, Chair, Dennis Heisey, Vice Chair, Daryl Glenn, Sally Clark, Peggy Littleton, members, attested to by Chuck Browerman, Clerk and Recorder.
Second.
Or third.
All right. So I know we have a lot of folks here who would like to speak. So Max, if you'd like, we'll let folks speak, and then you can have a rebuttal if you'd like.
But I would like to introduce my wife, Marilyn, because she's the other part of the team.
Indeed. Marilyn,
The reason
welcome.
I could be
Welcome.
here.
All right, so who'd like to kick us off? Looks like Jim is coming down. And folks, just go ahead and kind of line up if you would like to make some comments about Max.
First, if you're not sure how Max feels, ask him. He'll tell you. And if you're still confused, you got a problem because you're not listening. The second thing I learned about Max is that respect. I've listened to Max in meetings with builders and developers, and when Max says something, I heard a developer say, "Max, do I have your word on it?" "You do." And that's all it was. No contracts, nothing needed. It was basically Max's word, so that's real important. And the other thing is, Max has a tendency to ask me this question constantly. I'm not sure if it's rhetorical or if he just doesn't remember. He says, "I think I'm an engineer." So Max, just so you know, you are. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
That was an excellent segue, because just last week, we actually made Max an honorary planner in development services. And conveniently, we have an opening for a planner too. Max always says that he was recycled, so there could be an opportunity for a third recycling.
Hey, we believe in recycling.
Max, I appreciate everything you've done for me, everything you've done for development services. I feel like Max taught us the right way to do things, otherwise known as the Max way, but I believe it was the right way. Max would support our staff regardless, which is a sign of a true leader in my mind. Very sharp wit, but always an open dialogue with staff, with developers. There's something to be said for that. You know, Max always says that the first time around, things were done better. It was easier to get things done. Things were always done better. But I think having him this time around, things were pretty good too. And I think a lot of us really learned a lot from this time around. It was definitely an honor to work for Max. I know that I have very big shoes, both literally and figuratively, to fill with Max leaving, but try to do the best I can. If I can be half the supervisor that Max has been to all of us, which you can tell he's very supported by the number of people from our department here today. If I can be half the supervisor that Max has been, I will consider it a success. Thank you. Thank you, Max.
I've served under Max for a number of years lately. Max is a good man. He doesn't want a long speech. He's very respectful of his wife and his children. He's just a good man to have as a leader and to be working underneath. He's got plenty of quotes and comments that you may hear and you could have added to the resolution. Hopefully we didn't do all of those. One of the things he also envisions himself as benevolent dictator. That kind of hits upon what Craig had indicated. He's a strong supporter of staff and will always defend staff. One of the other things he mentions always is after a person leaves, there's plenty of time to correct their mistakes. And so he may hear that. People did that perhaps after his first tour with the county, and people may try to do that after his second tour. But it's been a great pleasure to serve under Max, and I think most of the staff will also say that if they came down to speak.
Max, thank you for all you've done. You really have been an asset to this county, to the Development Services Department, as well as your time at the Department of Transportation. He has been a true leader through difficult times and the challenges that he's faced. He has really stepped up and provided the leadership necessary to move the county forward. It has been a pleasure to work with him professionally on committees, as well as with my involvement with the HBA. He is a respected person and a great leader from the county. So your proclamation is well-deserved, and it just shows how much Max has done for this county over the many, many years. Thank you.
I've got to know Max for about 5 years now. And right when I got on the job coming here, the new guy, I met with Max, and the first thing he said is, "Are you the new guy?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Well, you got a lot to learn." And he, as Mr. Reed said, he does. I do, and I still do. But one of the wonderful moments I've had with Max is talking about the nexus between land use and public health. and how we can work together to make this the most healthiest county in the state and the nation. I think we've done a lot of that in looking at how we can work together and collaborate and provide good government. I appreciate his leadership through the years. I've learned a lot, and like he said, I do have a lot to learn, and I continue to learn. His staff have been wonderful. I've seen a collaboration with all county governments where we incorporate those ideals that we believe strive for excellence. Max is a true public servant. We can all learn from him. I'm going to miss him, and I wish him the best, but thank you, Max.
And I don't know which company to start with. I could go back to Widefield Homes, which was in 1975 when Max got here, and I was working with them as a pretty young guy, and came in, and here was this curmudgeon coming in to teach us a few things. And I can only say that he taught us a lot. But not only that, what I really enjoyed over all the years and all the time that I've spent with Max, and I've spent a lot, is that the common sense approach to getting things done, the cooperation that we've gotten from the public sector with or private sector to the public sector has been wonderful in comparison to many other things. I cannot tell you how much respect and admiration I have for Max Rothschild, how much I've enjoyed working with him over the years. And just because he'll probably get mad at me for saying it, I can't tell him how much my father respected him and loved working with him for all those years. And from a legacy standpoint, we're going to really miss Max. And the thing I would say to Craig is, Craig, if you learn the common sense approach from Max, you're going to do really well, and we're going to get along very well. Thank you all very much.
I'm Max Rothschild's daughter, and it was actually at a Board of County Commissioners meeting back in the late 1970s that inspired me to become a public servant like my father. He has been a rock for our family as well as my mom, Marilyn. There are 10 of us, 10 children, and he has been a great role model, and actually the whole reason why I also went into public service. So just wanted to tell him how much we love him, and we thank El Paso County for having him for so long, and I know I hope I can follow in his footsteps in the future. Thanks.
I have had a very favorable, very lucky position here at El Paso County as county engineer, being able to work with a great former county engineer very closely. In probably one of the most challenging areas of the county, development services, there's very few things I've come across in this county that is more challenging than the process that we have of enforcing our standards and regulations with new development. But having said that, Max Rothschild has been just immeasurable for me. Being able to work with him and watch him and learn from him, and it's just been great. It's part of my success here, and I have truly enjoyed it. And I just want to say thanks, Max. He probably doesn't remember, but back in the early 90s, I was submitting plans to his office and over on Stone Street, and working with Don Smith and all the other guys who were there at the time. But to be able to come back and work for the county with Max Rothschild has been a big part of my career, and I just want to thank you, Max.
I'm hoping I don't get teared up here. Max, you are a leader. You are a man of your word. You are a boss that empowers your staff. And for me, you are like a second dad, and I will miss your encouragement.
Good morning, Max. One of the things I will never tire of is Max's stories about his experiences here at the county, about the relocation of DOT from Stone to where it is today off Mark Shuffle. He has some great stories about that, but also about how the county snowplows became red, and other stories that I probably shouldn't repeat here today. Max, I wanted to tell you that Carl McClellan couldn't be here today, but he wanted to say hi and wish you the best. Carl and I were talking just the other day about everything that you've done here for the county, and one of the things that Carl wanted to say is about how much Max appreciated his staff, the honesty, and all the employees in the county, and that if you ever made a mistake, you better let Max know, but not do it ever again. As you know, Max has overseen 2 departments in this county, Development Services and Road and Bridge. And although I also worked at both those departments, it was at different times. So although I never had the pleasure of working for Max directly, I've had the honor of working with Max. And I was recently reading a book that contained a quote by John Maxwell and thought it embodied my thoughts concerning your significant contributions to the county and the community. Achievement comes when you do great things for yourself. Success comes from when you empower followers to do great things with you. Significant comes when you develop leaders who do great things for you. And a legacy is created only when you put your organization into the position to do great things without you. From your leadership example, I have learned some significant things. Leadership is all about relationships, credibility, honesty, trust, and especially integrity. For me, the greatest gift you've given me is the leadership example that you have set as the executive director of DSD, and especially as the county engineer. You're the type of leader that I strive to be, and words cannot say how much I value our relationship. I have your phone number, and I know you're just a phone call away if ever I need anything, and he's not afraid to ever give me any advice. So I'm gonna wish you and your lovely bride best wishes, because I know you'll never truly retire from the county. Thank you, Max.
I work for the city of Colorado Springs, but I started off my career in 1982 when Max Rothschild hired me. And as a young engineer, he mentored me and showed me the respect you get by being direct, by being honest with your clients and your people you work with. So I just want to say thanks, Max. You've been a wonderful mentor to me for a lot of years. So thanks.
Just a quick factoid that some people don't know that me and Max share. Max and I are both from Northern Ohio, and we're both alumni of The Ohio State University. The School of Architecture, which I graduated from, is actually in the College of Engineering. So Max and I have had lots of stuff to talk about. The one thing I respect about Max, and I've grown to respect even more and more over the years, is that you didn't have to agree with Max, or you didn't have to like his decisions, but he would make them. You could, in closed door, open door sessions, you could speak your mind freely. And he always would say that he'll listen to anyone's opinion, but he'll make the decision. And so sometimes in the development process, there are difficult decisions that need to be made. Sometimes they can be emotional. Sometimes we can get invested in them deeply. And Max would always be willing to listen. The other thing about Max, like Carrie expressed, is that you could talk to Max about anything. And not only was he a good leader, a director, but he also had lots of wisdom to share, family matters, parenting. He has a blended family. I have a blended family. We have 4 children, and adult children that don't always listen to what Dad has to say. But I've learned a lot from Max, and not only professionally, but personally. And Max, I want to thank you and let you know that I appreciate all that you've done for us.
I go back a long ways with Max. I've sat on a lot of commissions for the county, and I just felt that it was my duty to come and say goodbye to him. Max and I have worked on on a lot of projects. Some we agreed on, some we didn't. And I won't go into the ones that we didn't. But Max and I had lunch one time, and he asked why, or I asked him why he came back. And he says, love of the county. And I said, I guess that says it for me too. So with that, Max, going to miss you.
I was a young reporter in 1975 when Max Rothschild came as the El Paso County Department of Transportation Director. I always appreciated Max. You'd ask Max a question, and Max would make you work for the answer because he believed that you probably wouldn't understand it if you didn't work for it. So his most common phrase was, well, come out and see. Want to know what we're doing? Come out and see. Come out and ride on the snowplow, see for yourself. And I've thought many times over the years what a great thing to say in terms of transparency for a public organization you come out and see. A few years ago, I met a guy named Tom Hale, and Tom looked at my name badge, and it said El Paso County, and he looked at it for a while, and he said, "Do you know Max Rothschild?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I think I do." He said, "That guy's quite a bridge builder." I thought that was an interesting statement, and as we come together today to honor Max, you know, what a great line. Tom was referring to the fact that there came a time when there was a federal program available to rebuild defective county bridges, and Tom was the county administrator in Chaffee County. And Chaffee County had more defective bridges than anybody else on earth. And they were going to qualify for this federal program, but they didn't have anybody that could design and really make bridges happen. And the El Paso County Commissioners loaned Max to Chaffee County to accomplish that. And that's where Tom came up with the expression, he's quite a bridge builder. But I think today we have to recognize that Max is more than just a road bridge builder. Max has been a bridge between employees and elected leadership. He's been a bridge between builders and regulators. He's been a bridge between the generations. And certainly all of us who have worked alongside Max in various different roles will greatly miss that.
Max has had great ethics, great staff support. He supported us big time. And but he holds you to your word too. I mean, and he does remember. He's got one heck of a memory. So don't cross him. He's got a memory. And it's been just totally enjoyable to work with Max, and I really appreciate it. And just thank you, Max, for all you've done for us.
I had the privilege of working with Max on several bridges. He was the engineer for Chaffee County. I've been in the construction business for 40 years. I've known Max for about 30. I don't think this county's going to lose a more valuable employee, the integrity. As a contractor, I dealt with, over the years, numerous engineers, architects, and owners. I have never found anybody that I respect more for their integrity. And to Max, thank you for the privilege of working with you.
When I first met Max 30-some years ago, I was terrified of him, I will admit. And still occasionally today I am. But he is ethical, he is kind, he is one of the most wise men I have ever met. And we are indeed fortunate to have had him here in 2 capacities for as long as we did. Thank you, Max.
I'll try to be brief because I'm famous at the department for my monotone. I started working for Max as summer help in the 1980s at the Department of Transportation, and now I've reached the point where I'm also eligible for retirement, although Max has beat me to it. I can't say anything new that hasn't already been said. Max is the most ethical boss I've worked for. He treats his employees with respect. He treats his customers with respect, and he's always looked out for the taxpayers of El Paso County. Thank you, Max, for all your examples.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, Jim Bensberg, amateur ornithologist and itinerant motorcyclist, and citizen extraordinaire. I come here today to praise my friend Max Rothschild, who I didn't have the pleasure of working with when I served on this august board, but I came to know him in his second iteration as a public servant for El Paso County, and I will second the remarks of one of our other citizens here today. The process at Development Services is very, very open to citizens of all stripes and interests, and it is because of the efforts of Max Rothschild and his great staff and of course the support of the commissioners, that situation exists here in El Paso County, which I think is the best of all 64.
Okay, Henry Yankowski, County Administrator. I get to be the last one, and I really have had great opportunity to work with Max as well over the past probably only 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, something. I have a bad memory. Max has a very good memory. But I would sum up everything. If you look in the dictionary and you look under American Original, right there you'll see Max's face. It says it all. He's a flyer. He's an engineer. He's built bridges. He's done so many, many things that all of us can just dream of doing some of the things Max has done and will do. I have the pleasure of giving Marilyn flowers that were purchased by the employees of the county, as well as you get to hold it, but you're probably not going to get to decide what to do with the gift certificates. Max likes to make the decisions, but I'm thinking that this time maybe he'll be trumped. So from the employees of the county, they all collected money for a gift certificate for you and Marilyn to do something fun.
Thank you.
You get to do a little thing.
That'll say it. Thank you very much.
We're not quite ready for the reception because we need to actually vote on
We
this.
haven't voted?
So it may not.
You're
It
assuming
may
we'll
not
approve
be
this.
official, Max. So you might want to just hold tight.
Hold it.
All right. Comments from the board. Commissioner Clark.
I'll just start. And Max, we really don't want to accept the fact that you're going to be retiring. And, you know, people who move here, I've been here now, I think 31 years in El Paso County, and people still tell me, you know, I remember when Academy was a dirt road, but I know you do. You remember that.
I want to make sure, Commissioner Clark, before folks leave, I want to make sure everyone knows we will have a small reception in the hallway before we're done, and we'll take a break for that.
You're known for being a hard worker. You're known for having certainly a strong voice for the citizens and an experienced leader. And certainly the things that are listed even in the proclamation that Commissioner Lathan read, your leadership in CARS with the county engineers and NACE at the National Association of County Engineers in 1982 to 83, of where you served president at the national level, has certainly put El Paso County on the map over time. And all the things you did during the recovery for Waldo Canyon and Black Forest fires, we really appreciate you in trying to get those houses rebuilt and working with the citizens. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart that I've so much appreciated you. And so I wrote you a little limerick that I'm going to read right now so that you'll remember this. There was a man named Max Rothschild whose opinions were definitely not mild. He served with distinction and built many bridges, a leader who's worth priceless riches. Thank you, Max.
Thank you. Commissioner Heisey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Max, nobody's commented on the hat. Max is a man that knows how to wear a hat. That was one of the first things I noticed. And he wears good hats, you know, some Western hats, but he wears them well. And Marilyn, I would have done my very best to give you more shelf room in your closet for those hats, but his head size is just too small. Max, thank you. Really appreciate everything I've learned from you.
You've always been, you're the Max daddy. And Max, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being just a beautiful father figure to many. You know, your fingerprint is going to be indelible throughout this county, and you've touched so many lives in so many different ways. You've built bridges. You probably know where the dead bodies are, the ones that you've buried, or the ones that you've dug up while you've been building bridges. And so I know that we'll always come to you for that knowledge and for that institutional depth that we need as we make decisions here in the county.
No, you've really done things that make common sense. There were many times where, you know, people want to, it almost seems sometimes in development services, if you're a developer or doing anything in real estate, that people try to make things difficult, and it's like they just are looking for job security as opposed to just getting something done and getting it done in the right way and in the quickest way possible with common sense. And you've done that, and I think you've trained your staff well, and you've prepared them that rules are really, really nice, but sometimes we need to look at those and say what makes common sense as well, while we still are complying with the rules without slowing down projects in the community. Max, you have, I think, lived the truth of Reagan, where you say, Reagan said that good things can get done when you don't care who gets the credit. And that's the way that you function. You know, you don't care if you get the credit or if Development Services gets the credit. You just want to get good things done for our community. And that's a wonderful principle to live by, and you emulate that. And finally, I just want to say to Marilyn and you, because I know that you're going to be probably found many different times over at the German restaurant. So, God segne dich, which means God bless you.
Commissioner Glenn.
Max, I just want to tell you what an honor it is to serve with a county legend. You have been an unbelievable mentor, just being able to watch you. I enjoy watching you walk by my office with that cowboy hat. And first you walk by, then you turn around, and you're like, everything okay in there? But I always have confidence when you come in and you give a recommendation or give me an update that when you say things are the way they really are. And I think a true reflection of a leader is the staff that's left behind and just how you represent. And I look up there, and those are future leaders of this county. They are ready to go, and they're proud of you. You can see that they don't want you to leave, so we will deny this resolution. So, but seriously, you should be proud of the people that you've left behind. You should be proud of the mark that you've left with El Paso County, and I am proud of you.
I want to just let everyone know we have a very special sign up here for Max, and there have been a lot of signatures put on that. If you haven't been one of them, please take some time and come on up and maybe put a message on that sign, and it'll be there while we have this brief reception upstairs when we're all done with this. Max, I also wanted to let you know that Jeff Green wanted to be here and share his thanks and his best wishes for you. He wasn't able to do that, but having just seen him this morning, he wanted me to let you know how thankful he is for you, and congratulations. He absolutely was, so please know that. And I just want to tell you, when I came on this board in 2008, very early in 2008, and the ship was going down, and we were dealing with all that we were dealing with, the reorganization and the cuts and the economic downturn, to have someone like you to help teach me and to be someone who believed in the kind of philosophy that we hold for customer service and efficiency, and that common sense that you bring to everything has just been, it's just been a solid in this county. It's been something I haven't had to worry about. And for someone who has such a heart for the impact that development services has on this community in so many ways, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for teaching me and for doing right by the people of this county. You are a man of honor, and I am very privileged and just very honored to have spent all these years with you. And boy, what a joy for me. So God bless you both. I hope that you will go, do something crazy in your retirement. And we know that you're a phone call away. We know that. We know that you have left this county in a better place. And so we are very, very thankful for that. And you will be very, very missed for so many reasons. Thank you so much. So we do have a motion to deny, right, Commissioner Glenn?
I'll second that.
We have a motion to deny and a second. Would anyone like to make a friendly amendment?
I'll move to approve the proclamation,
Okay, we have a motion to
thanking
approve.
Max for his service.
Do we have a second?
Reluctantly.
Well, I guess my motion was reading the proclamation, so we'll accept that as a
so
second.
that's a second.
Yeah,
to
well,
yours.
we're going to argue over whether this passes or not.
We actually had,
had the motion in several seconds.
We
just
did.
kind of lost that.
We did, but I don't know, I think there might be a denial. I will call the roll for a motion to approve this proclamation and wish you all the best. Commissioner Clark.
Reluctantly, but appreciatively, aye.
Commissioner Heisey.
Thank you, Max, and I vote aye.
Commissioner Glenn.
Thank you for your service. Aye.
Commissioner Littleton.
Thank you for everything that you've done and the fingerprints you've left and will continue to leave. So reluctantly and regretfully, but joyfully, God's dignity, aye.
And the chair votes yes with great thanks. Thank you, Max, and we're going to get a great big photo.